comes to Sriman Rasik Mohandas. He is a lifelong monk and leader in the Bhakti Yoga tradition and received initiation at 9 years old from our beloved Guru, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosvami Maharaj, who asked him to become a monk and serve the mission. After graduation, he joined the monastery of his Guru in India, and he was living in India from 2005 and barely came back to the United States in 2020. And this was to be able to create the Bhakta-Bandhav ashram in New York, in Ellenville, New York. He has, soon following this, he has translated and published over 20 books on Bhakti Yoga. He has inaugurated this 60-acre ashram in the Catskills. And I have seen him go and explain from his own mouth. He was learning from the Bengali matas how to be able to cook in the kitchen and be able to imbibe in the bhav in India. And now he is giving all of this, being an uncle, a friend, and helping with the ashram in Ellenville, New York, with the beautiful, beautiful Seva Kunj deities that were just installed last week. So without further ado, Sriman Rasik Mohandas, the floor is yours. If we can be able to put Rasik Mohan as the primary. Let's see here. It seems like you're muted. Let's see here. Thank you for following along with the technical difficulties. Give me 1 second here. Asking to unmute.
Haribo everyone.
Haribo.
Good to see you again, Anjali, so soon. Haribo, Jashodanandan Prabhu, all the devotees, Dandavat Pranams. So I believe I have about 40 minutes or so.
Give or take. You're good on time.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo. Seva Kunje Braje Ramye Govardhane Giro Sada Radha Kundera Sanande Tat Tat Seva Pradayakam Gurung Narayanakyam Tang Vande Vinoda Pristakam Yat Parasmriti Matrena Damodhara Prasidati. Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradhaine Kalu Kalamasanasaya Janavapataye Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. Shyamasundara Shekanda Shekara Smerahasa Murali Manohara Radha-Krsna Mam Kripanide Swapriya Charanam Kinkarim Kuru Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhura Smitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Bharadram Tato Mamanya Stigatir Nakati Tavevasmi Najivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya Radhetam Nayamam Charanantike Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shrideva ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Nitai Gokumanandi. Haribo, Haribo, Dandavats everybody. Pranam, Haribo. So I have the great fortune be amongst you all, and with the opportunity to repeat the words of our beloved Guru Pad Padma, Shishmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev, and our Guru Parampara, in a humble attempt to glorify our exalted Guru Varga, our Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, whose Avirbhav we are celebrating, and also to speak a little bit about a very wonderful pastime place in Braj called Jharu Mandala, where there are two very beautiful pastimes. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he would say that, O children of Nectar, Amritasya Putra, you should not be satisfied with the things of this world that are very trivial. You are meant to taste nectar. Therefore, go and seek out that divine nectar. So I thought it's interesting that on this day I get the opportunity to speak about our very dear and exalted Guru Varga, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, but also about the sweet nectarian pastimes of Krishna. So I thought I'll speak very quickly first about Jharu Mandala, trying to taste that nectar, and then speak briefly on the life of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and read a few of his passages of his literature, which is so profound, and it's such a great guiding lamp in our spiritual life. You know, we say Oma Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Oh Guru. Guru is he who brings us from darkness to light. And he gives us the torchlight of divine knowledge. In our path, it's also the torchlight of not just knowledge, but the knowledge of prem, pure love for Krishna and relationship. That is the topmost knowledge. Sambandha Videya Prayojan Gyan. So Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj was, in our modern times, one of the most profound bhakti philosophers and spiritual teachers, guiding us on the path of pure devotion. And just even one thing to note here that I'm reading, and I don't know, I'm kind of torn between what to speak on, but it's kind of like, even to go towards Krishna Lila, it's so nice to have a proper meditation about what does it mean to be a true, genuine guru who is able to save others from samsara. And so I'm reading actually from this beautiful book, My Beloved Masters, published by Shri Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani Publications. It's a compilation of lectures of Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And it's such a beautiful book, giving us relationship to all our Gaur Parivar, our family of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially in the line of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. They're all generals in the army, the incomparable commanders of Srila Prabhupada's army. It's a nice meditation to think of Radha-Krishna's own associates, Mahaprabhu's own associates have come to this world. And therefore, an important meditation when we hear about these personalities is to recognize and understand the distinction between a Bada Jiva, or a conditioned soul, and an eternal associate of Mahaprabhu who we can aspire to serve. Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, Baddha or Yukta, Falgu or Mukta. Always understand the distinction between a conditioned and a liberated soul, and false and genuine renunciation. He gave these important instructions. And so when we speak about personalities like Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, repeating the words of our Guru Varga and our Srila Gurudev, it's important to remember who they are. And just to aspire to be like, we just, from my own heart, hoping to be able to have this mood of even like carrying the shoes, becoming qualified to carry the shoes of these great personalities. Our Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada said, what is our identity as Vaishnavas in this line? That we are simply the peons carrying the message from the messengers of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha Vardhapa peon means our mood and our position is this aspiration. Let me just simply become those who worship this message of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Such a beautiful thing, especially, you know, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he talks a lot in this beautiful language, talking about like angels. And our Guru Varga, they are truly like our angels. Our Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, we can think of him as like our patron saint almost of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There are no smaller light personalities. They're so exalted. Truly a Nitya Parishad of the Lord, eternal associate of the Lord. And that's not a cheap thing to throw about, oh, this person, he's an eternal associate, that person's eternal associate. It's not a cheap thing. These great exalted personalities are truly like our saviors. Vaishnavira gunagan korile jivaratran. By speaking about Vaishnavas, about devotees, it liberates us. It purifies our life. We hear from Sastra that we're actually can be considered more fortunate to hear about and speak about Krishna's own associates than about him directly. Our Srila Gurudev would say to hear about or to go to the place where Vaishnavas are born or where they perform their pastimes, it's even more exalted than going to a Vishnu mandir, a temple of Vishnu. Because without such personalities like Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, we would not have any chance to understand or to access or to enter the realm of the transcendental absolute Sri Krishna. And so Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he gave us this beacon of hope and a guiding light, leading us from this dark realm of matter to the beautiful realm of spirit and dedication and service. And he talked a lot about this endeavor to transfer our consciousness from the realm of exploitation and matter to the realm of dedication and service of spirit. And so I want to quote something here that he writes. There's so many details here. So I encourage anyone who wants to know a lot about him to develop more relationship to, find this book. Maybe Anjali can give a link for this book, or generally when we hear biographies, when we have biographies of great Vaishnavas, there's so many stories, so many details. There's so many beautiful anecdotes. Almost just flipping through, we can read so many things. I'll read this paragraph really quick. There's just so many amazing passages that it's hard to even touch upon them. But that's why it's best to try to deep dive. I was reading through this, and it's such an amazing, interesting story, but I don't want to do it injustice by just briefly going over it. So really, I encourage everyone to take shelter of this book and read about Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and also all of these generals in the army of Mahaprabhu. And why this is important, because Raghunath Das Goswami told us in Manashiksha, the foremost Rupa Nuga, follower of Rupa Goswami, he said, when we're struggling in life, when we're in any calamity, when we're suffering or tempted by desires in this realm, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, who is our saving grace? Who are those angels that can protect us? The generals of devotion and our protectors. Bhakti Rakshak, he is our protector. He is the protector of bhakti, the guardian of devotion. So even in Christian terms, in biblical terms, often angels are like the generals of the army of God, right? And so we can think of them and pray to them. Raghunath Das Goswami says, Asat chesta kasta pradavikata pasali virima. That all my wicked desires, asat chesta, because of performing materialistic activities that are not related to the eternal truth, then so many desires attack me like dacoits in the road of life. And they bind my neck with a noose and drag me towards sinful material activities. So what should we do in those circumstances? We should call out, Fukaran, call out with great love to these generals of devotion, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they will certainly protect us. Sometimes we hear stories of people who are attacked by ghosts, even in India. And they pray to different deities even. And sometimes there's such powerful Rakshasas, such powerful spirits that nothing works. But then when they call out the name of their Guru Maharaj or great Vaishnavacharyas, immediately those Rakshasas, those ghosts, whatever they may be, offer pranam and leave. Why? These are the generals of devotion. And so we should always have them in our thoughts and our prayers. If we want to approach Sri Krishna, we must take shelter of his associates. It's described that Mother Earth herself fears her life to be successful. When any of these associates of Krishna appear in this world, she considers them to be her true sons. The true sons. It's like in any society, someone who wins a Nobel Prize, or someone who is a great athlete, or someone who is all of society lauds and thinks that, they have made our society successful by their appearance. So we can think Mother Earth herself, what to speak of any ordinary personality. Mother Earth herself, when any personality like Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj appears, then she considers herself to be greatly fortunate. And therefore we take shelter of those places where the Vaishnavas appear, where they perform their pastimes, as great holy places. Vaishnavera Gunagan Korile Jiviratran. So therefore, by glorifying the Vaishnavas, our life is successful. So Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj says here, it is impossible for one to gain knowledge, this is page 53, about Bhagavan through one's own endeavors or through the help of someone on the same level of devotion. So there's unlimited things to speak about because he wrote so many amazing books. But this popped out to me as something very profound. And it emphasizes that point of, needing sadhu sangha, saintly association of those who are more advanced than ourselves. Ashraya jatya, swajatya ashraya snigdha sadhu sangha satovare. Taking shelter of those who are encouraging us in a similar mood of devotion. Ashraya, who are giving shelter to us. And snigdha, who are affectionate towards us and who are more advanced than us. So therefore, we're encouraged on different levels of devotion to always seek higher association. Srila Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj would say, it's like a search for the higher ground. What is the higher ground? Ground is like sattva, existence, our foundation, Baladev, and sadhu. Sadhu is our higher ground. And so we want to, as if we're on a beginner stage, we want to have association with devotees similar to us, but also who can encourage us further. And then seek to bring us to intermediate association, Madhyam Vaishnav. And then in the association of Madhyam Vaishnavas, we can make great advancement. Madhyam Vaishnavas themselves should always seek out Uttam Vaishnav, higher association. And by doing this, then we can genuinely advance to the completion of our spiritual life. One thing the Vaishnavas always told me is, in spiritual life, think of it like a train journey. Don't be satisfied or get off at an early stop. In a train journey, you'll have many stops that you can get off at. But ultimately, bhukti, mukti, heaven, if we think of the example of Gopakumar and Brihad Bhagavatamrita, how Sanatana Goswami describes his spiritual evolution, all the different stops he went to. But Vaishnavas encourage us, don't stop until you get to the highest thing. What is that? Krishna Prem. Until you've really relished the fruit of Krishna Prem, your spiritual train journey, it should continue. Don't be satisfied, now I've developed some intelligence, some knowledge of Sastra, or I've controlled my senses to some degree. We should desire more. Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj often quotes this beautiful verse of the Chataka bird. Srila Sridhar Maharaj would often quote this. Virachaya mai dhandam dina bandhu dhayamba. So in brief, it's the idea that the Chataka bird is a kind of bird who only wants that special rain from a certain constellation called the Swati Nakshatra. And when it rains during that constellation, then it will drink. It will never take water from the ground or from a dirty pool. So this is the mood of developing that one-pointed nishta desire. I want to serve Shri Krishna like the Brajabasis. How can I serve Srimati Radhika? How can I develop this mood of being her maidservant? Whatever mood we're in, whatever mood we can develop, we should aspire and try to drink that. As Srila Sridhar Maharaj would say, try to drink that immortal nectar, that nectar of bliss. That is our destiny. Amritasya putra, Sastra says, we are the children of that transcendental bliss personified. Therefore, our destiny is to taste that. So he would also, in his, one interesting point is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he kind of inculcated this in his disciples. This idea of what it means to be a Vaishnav. The position of a Vaishnav is such an exalted thing. It's not a simple, small thing. There was this debate going on between Brahmins and Vaishnavas. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about it in Jaiva Dharma. He says, Brahmins who are Vaishnavas, they're very exalted. But if you're a Brahmin but not a Vaishnav, meaning if you don't have a mood of surrender to Krishna, all your Brahminical qualities are like ornaments on a dead body. It means you're the most elevated of those conscious beings who are still unconscious in levels of blossoming consciousness. The Vaishnava is that person who is truly conscious of their true self, their Atma, not in terms of a body. A Brahmin bodily designation is not a spiritual designation. It's according to the body, but the soul is not the body. And so Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami Maharaj and Acharyas, they would say that, what is the Atma? What is the soul? And this mood of being a children of divine bliss and seeking that bliss, Mahaprabhu gave us that instruction. That Vaishnava is the highest thing, because who is a Vaishnav? In the line of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu said, I'm not a Brahmin, naham Vaishnav Sudra, naham Vipro, napi Vaishnava Sudra, naham Varni, nachagriha patir navanasto yitirva. Kintu prodya nikila paramarth. What am I? What is my identity? I am that Gopi Bhartu Padakamalyo Dasa Das Anudas, the servant of the servant of the servant of that Krishna, the beloved of the gopis, the beloved of my Radharani. Madisha Nathatve, that is my identity. But Nikila Pada, the complete concentrated embodiment of transcendental bliss. That's the third line. That is my identity. So as a Vaishnav, I identify with my spiritual designation as a part and particle of that Sri Radha and Sri Krishna and their eternal aspiring servant, their eternal aspiring friend. And ultimately, we want that mode of relationship with them. Therefore, he encourages us to seek out that higher thing. And that's why he says you must take shelter of sadhu sangha. And he quotes this verse, Nayamatma pravachanena labhya namedaya nabhuna shrutena. Kata Upanishad. That not by our personal endeavor, not by our own intelligence, not by delivering great sermons, not by another person's advice, none of these things will give us realization of God. Only by his mercy. But how do we get Krishna's mercy? Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate. Take shelter of Krishna's dear devotees. They are our dearmost friends and well-wishers. Bhakta Bhanda, they are our dearmost friends. By taking shelter of them, then they can lead us to Krishna as our guide. So this is an important thing that he mentions to us, that we must seek out association of advanced Vaishnavas and under their guidance try to live our lives. And thus doing, we can certainly achieve Sri Krishna's mercy. Krishna will gladly give it. Bhukti mukti jiya jan palaya. For those who don't take shelter of great Vaishnavas, then it said Krishna will give bhukti mukti, sense enjoyment, liberation even. But if we want to achieve the fruit of Krishna prem and be eternally blissful, then ashraya liya bhaje, tare Krishna nahi tyaje, arsha mure akaran. Narottam Das Thakur sings, take shelter of that higher ground, of that higher association, the sadhus, and thus doing, we can make our lives sublime. So I'll speak a little bit about Jharu Mandala and then come back to Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami Maharaj. I think I still have about 15, 20 minutes maybe? Okay.
About 20.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead, go for 15 though.
Jharu Mandala is a very sweet pastime place. There's two significant pastimes related. One is related to our Guru Varga, Srila Shyamananda Prabhu. He is one of the three very prominent personalities who are students of Srila Jiva Goswami as their Shiksha Guru and the general of all Vaishnavas. So therefore, Shyamananda, Srinivas, and Narottam Das Thakur, they all studied under Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami established what's called Vishwa Vaishnav Raj Sabha, what we hear of nowadays as like a world Vaishnav society or association. And in the mood of the Bhagavat Parampara, which is a separate topic, but the idea being that who we gain teaching from or instruction from, having proper honor for them, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, as both being integral in our bhakti process. Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. Rupa Goswami says this is like the first stages of bhakti, the first limbs of 64 limbs of bhakti. Krishna Dikshadi Shikshana. Take Krishna Diksha, Grihita Vishnu Dikshako, then you'll be a Vaishnav. Vishnu Puja Puronarav, worship Lord Vishnu after taking Diksha. Then we are considered a Vaishnav. But that's like spiritual birth. Guru gives mantra, and then Guru is father and mantra is mother. But then when we're born, we need to go to school to learn. So therefore, Guru, father and mother, they send us to a Shiksha Guru. Sometimes Shiksha Guru is Diksha Guru. Sometimes Diksha Guru will send one to a Shiksha Guru. It depends according to our circumstance. But we must always seek guidance and to learn. So Jiva Goswami was teaching these three personalities. He also gave them seva. It's not just about study and philosophical learning or learning how to do different activities, ritualistic performances, sadhanas. We should also serve. Seva sadhaka rupena. As a sadhaka, we should engage in seva. Siddha rupena chatrahi. gradually developing our relationship to the higher realm. Siddha Rupena Chatrahi. So Shyamananda Prabhu got the service, a very sweet service of sweeping the pathways of Braj. And Jiva Goswami kind of indicating his, developing his relationship with Srimati Radharani and Krishna. He told him, if you find anything while sweeping, don't give it to anyone but the original owner. So one morning, while he was sweeping, he found an anklet. And he collected this and brought it back to the ashram and showed it to Jiva Goswami. He said, don't give it to anyone but the owner. So that day, some boys, some cowherd boys, looked like village boys, they came to him and said, oh, our sister, or our like the brother, he said, my sister, he came with some friends. My sister lost her anklet. We're looking for it. Maybe we know that you sweep around here every day. Maybe you found it. He said, yes, I found something, but my Guru Maharaj has told me that I can only give it to the rightful owner. So the boys got a little mad. They said, oh, you want to see my sister? She's very beautiful. You're thinking, oh, you're some kind of so-called sadhu. You're not supposed to want to look at beautiful young girls. And he was obstinate. No, I won't give it. They started to threaten him. Oh, we'll beat you up. We'll call all our other friends. We hear different stories. First, the girls, sometimes we hear first two like village girls came, meaning in a hidden way, like Lalita Vishaka is the pastime. But then when he didn't give it to them, we hear different versions. When he didn't give it to them, then they say, we're going to call our brothers. So the brothers came like collection men, for the mafia. Hey, you better give it to us or else. But he held strong. He wouldn't give it. So then finally they said, okay, we'll only let you give it to her if you blindfold yourself. So they gave him a blindfold. They led him to that place where Srimati Radhika was present with her Sakis. She came there and they met. And he said, okay, now give it. He said, I cannot see her. So he said, okay, trust us. It's the rightful owner. He said, okay, I'll put it on her ankle myself. So therefore he tied this ankle. He put this ankle bell on Srimati Radhika's foot herself directly. And Radhika was so pleased with him that then she granted darshan. In his heart, he had darshan completely of Srimati Radhika. Then she allowed him to see her directly. And he could see her transcendental form. And immediately, what is the success of the eyes? Our eyes become successful and we see the divine form of Shri Radha-Krsna or the Vaishnavas. So his life became in that moment sublime. Before he had the name Dukhi Krishna, which means someone who is dukhi, suffering or miserable. But now he got the name Shyamananda. Because who is Shyamananda? She who gives Ananda to Shyam, Srimati Radhika, Shyamananda. Wherever there's the word Ananda, it's referring to Radharani. She is the Ananda Shakti, Ladini Shakti. Therefore, Brahma Sanghita, we sing Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi Stabirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabi Kaloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I offer pranam to that Govinda, who is present with his own form, his own internal potency, Srimati Radhika, who has all Ananda, Chinmaya Ras, who serves him in unlimited ways through all different arts. So Shyamananda took her shelter, and Lalita, it's described that they gave him this shape of the anklet for his tilak. And so we see in the Shyamananda Sampradaya, in that lineage coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they wear tilak like that, where the bottom part, it's not the tulsi leaf, but it's like the anklet. So they are very exalted. We see his mandir there. So this happened near Jharu Mandala. The other pastime related to Jharu Mandala is very beautiful. There was a lady, like an older lady, and she had her occupation, her dharma was to grind grains. She had a grinding like a mortar and pestle. And in the morning time, she would do this early morning so she could sell it in the daytime. Before the sun rose, she would take her grains and grind them. And she would always sing. She wasn't just doing her work and thinking about something else. When she was doing it, she was always thinking of Krishna and chanting Govinda Dhamo Dharma Thaveti, Govinda Dhamo Dharma Thaveti. She was always singing the names of Krishna, the names of Radharani. So as she was doing like this, it would make a noise, gada, 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 gada. If you hear like the authentic Indian grinding mortar. She was singing like this, so many songs. Our Gurudev would always sing this Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. She would sing like this. She would sing so many songs because actually Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, this was written by our great acharyas from long before. So one day when she was doing this, a little darkish boy, Sham Varna, a little dark boy, came to her in the early morning, and he was kind of like rubbing his eyes, yawning, and he's saying, "Oh, mother, I live nearby. And early morning, you're making this loud grinding noise." If anyone's lived in Vrindavan, I lived in Mathura and Vrindavan for 15, 16 years. So it's a rare night that you don't hear some loud noise, either a wedding party or some kind of, rickshaw music going by, or traffic in Vrindavan early morning, or construction work. Vrindavan is always full of transcendental commotion. So Krishna, this is actually Krishna. And he was coming to this lady, "Oh, I'm tired, I'm trying to sleep, and you're making this grinding noise and singing to me. How can I sleep?" What is the idea? Whenever we are chanting Krishna's names, developing relationship with him, then he must come, he must be there. Wherever his names are being sung, he is there. So he said, "Mother, can you please do this a little later," or something like that, or maybe you don't have to do it so much. She said, "Oh, I'm a little bit worried for my livelihood. I'm just a simple old lady. I don't have any family to take care of me so much. I have to do this for my maintenance." So Krishna, very sweetly smiling, you can imagine just this very beautiful Bal Gopal, beautiful small baby Krishna, like Kumar form, young boy. He said, "Okay, mother, don't worry. I'm going to do something for you that will make your life very easy." He placed his foot on the grinding mortar, on this grinding stone. And he said, "Mother, my footprint, for some reason or other, I don't know why, but people really like to come see wherever my footprint is present." I don't know what it is about me, but for some reason, wherever my footprint's present, people will come and they'll offer pranam, they'll give money there, they'll put flowers, they'll want to do parikrama and worship it. So mother, don't worry, you won't have to worry about your maintenance. You can just live here and help people who come and talk to them, sing about me, and you won't have to worry about your maintenance. So in this way, smiling, he left. And as he left, very quickly, she immediately experienced, when we come into contact with Krishna, he may be in a hidden form, but it fills us with so much bliss. How can we not be filled with bliss seeing the beautiful form of Krishna and having an interaction with him? So therefore, Krishna gave her this blessing. And from that morning, from that day, crowds of people would come for the darshan of that place. And they would take parikrama, they would give money there. So that's why they say, we don't want to do like a Murti business. We establish the form of the Lord for their sake, for their worship, for their pleasure. And naturally, if people want to give, we encourage people to give, to make relation with them. But ultimately, we want, first of all, to establish our relationship with them. They come to us to establish their relationship with us and to give us that opportunity. So that's two of the beautiful pastimes related to that area. One thing I've heard a beautiful thing about Srila Gorkshalas Babaji Maharaj. He is the guru of Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when he lived in Braj, so many great mahantas or temple leaders would want him to come and eat at their temple. And they said, "Come eat with us." But he would always avoid. And they would again and again request him. And then he would do things that were very odd for people. "Why is he doing like this?" He would go to the sweepers. And he would ask the sweepers that at the end of the day in Braj culture, if someone's of the sweeper class, they'll sweep the different pathways. And then after they do that service, like in the evening time, they can go and beg alms from the householders. And the householders give them rotis, give them rice, dal, sweets, whatever it may be, fruits. And this way they maintain their life. So Gorkshalas Babaji Maharaj would go to the sweepers and say, "After you finish all your bhiksha, and after you've eaten yourself, just give me a little bit of your remnants. I want to take prasad from you." Why? Because he said, the mahantas, they're again and again asking me to eat with them in their temple. But in their temples, they have big, nice rooms, and Thakurji is being worshipped, and they're being worshipped almost similar way. They have a big, nice bed, Hiranyakashipu, soft. We're not trying to criticize, but this is Gorkshalas Babaji Maharaj's mood. And it's not for everyone. It just means some cases. It's helping us remind ourselves, what is our mood when we go to Braj? We want to take shelter of the dust of Braj. So the sweepers are naturally taking shelter of the dust of Braj, always sweeping and collecting it. So Gorkshalas Babaji Maharaj said, "I want to take from you because you have surrendered to the dust of Braj." And so it's a very beautiful thing. This is the mood of Uddhava. Asamaho charanarenu samahamsham Vrindavane kimapi gulmalato sadinam yajusadam. That though gopis who are walking in Vrindavan, whose dust from their feet has fallen on the grass or on the herbs or on the shrubs. May I become like a particle of grass or an herb or a shrub, so that in my life I'll have a chance to get the dust of the Brija Gopis' feet on my head. And Lord Brahma himself said, my aspiration is to become like the stone. It's a very beautiful idea around, why I guess I'm thinking about it because of this pastime of this Shamananda Pur sweeping. Narottam Das Thakur also swept the area where his Guru Maharaj Lokanath Das Goswami was residing. So this is like for Lord Jagannath, we always sweep in front of the cart. So it's kind of like, this is our mood of developing that mood of, Mahaprabhu said, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patidam Bang Vishame Bambuda Kripani to Pada Punks Lastita Duli Sadrisang Mang Vichimai. Make me like a particle of dust at your lotus feet. So therefore, Lord Brahma said, my aspiration is to become like a stone in Braj. And after the sweepers clean all day in Braj, they come and they'll wipe their feet on that stone. And all the dust of Braj from the feet of the servants, the Brajbasis, will come upon my body. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, our highest aspiration is to serve those Brajbasis who are absorbed in separation from Krishna when he has left, and thus help them and develop that mood of service to the Brajbasis. So this is our mood. And this mood is something that Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj helped us develop. He was especially prominent in the time after Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had left this world to give further guidance to devotees who felt like orphaned, lost souls that needed help and guidance. Srila Swami Prabhupada told them, you can take further guidance from Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, our Gurudev, and you can take guidance from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. He especially indicated his disciples to take both of their guidance in spiritual life. Our Srila Gurudev, he instructed him or requested him to give him samadhi. And in his final darshan meeting, he said, you should look after all my disciples and help them grow in bhakti. And also to Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he was a helper. And so something that I've noticed from many of our acharyas in our line, we definitely see this with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj prominently, but many other followers of generals in the army of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. Generally in our spiritual life, when we come to Guru, we're a spiritual seeker. We're seeking something. And then when we join the mission of our Guru encourages us in that quest, but he also gives us responsibility for service. And that is one of the main ways that we can develop in spiritual life. It develops our backbone, Guru Nishta. And by service, taking responsibility for the mission of our Guru, we can develop our spiritual life very quickly. Sarva sadhana mukya hi guru seva sadadharya bhaktir bhagavati anjasayat sukavaha. Shastras state that the best of all sadhanas is Guru Seva, service to Guru. By doing this, yanjasayat sukavaha, very easily and simply and blissfully, we can achieve the goal of life, Krishna Prem. So therefore, when we come as spiritual seekers and we take shelter of Sri Guru, we become engaged in the service of his mission. However, we must always remember why we are serving the mission. And that is, we have to maintain that mood of being a seeker. Like I said, don't get off at an early station until you reach your destination. If you get off at an early station, the train will continue. And when will you get the next train that you can catch? So in spiritual life, we may get off at a station of, oh, I'm being worshipped and have many followers, I have temples, but have I developed love for Krishna in my heart, pure love and relationship, realization of my internal relation with Krishna? Have I realized that yet? Then I should not get off at that station. I should keep going on the train of my spiritual journey. Continue that spiritual path, and therefore we follow our sadhana. Our first service to Guru is chanting Harinam. This is the first thing Guru gives us. Therefore we sing Nama Shrestha Manuapi Sachiputra Matra Sarupam. Guru Maharaj gives Nam. So first service to Guru is chanting Harinam with that mood of being a seeker, aspiring for that nectar, that bliss of transcendental relationship with Krishna, as our Guru teaches us. Mahaprabhu said, the buried treasure that you seek is Krishna Prem, love for Krishna. And you must don't endeavor Astanga Yoga, Karma, Gyan. Don't search in the south, in the north, in the west. Search in the east. Very easily you'll find that buried treasure. The east is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Then you can easily find the treasure of Krishna Prem. So when we serve the mission, we serve it with that mood of deep, sincere, following of the process, which is why it was so important that Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami Maharaj, who is the protector, the guardian of devotion, Rakshak, he guided so many souls in how to continue that spiritual journey and that thirst and depth of philosophical understanding and lack of being satisfied with post and position that can come in spiritual life. It doesn't mean we're advanced if we manage a temple or if we help manage a society. Advancement is genuine relationship with Guru and Vaishnavas internally and realization of our spiritual relationship with Krishna. That is spiritual advancement. Therefore, we should continue on that spiritual journey. Then when we chant Kirtan, what I tell devotees is Kirtan is spending time with Krishna. Because the best way to spend time with Krishna is by chanting his names. Therefore, chanting Mahamantra, chanting and doing Kirtan, doing our Guru songs, Vaishnava songs, Gaur songs, Nitai songs. This is developing our relationship with our Vigrahas, our divine objects of all our worship. And so therefore, chanting Kirtan, chanting Harinam, being with devotees, taking prasad, this is our sadhana. And when we do this sadhana, then we must serve our Guru and serve his mission. And that is a way to develop our spiritual life or take responsibility for our Guru's service. But they must go hand in hand. And so we see that, I think, especially with Sridhar Maharaj, how he encouraged people. He didn't travel so much, showing that spiritual life isn't necessarily an external journey, it's an internal journey. And therefore, from one place, you can develop that and go very far in your spiritual life. So his books, if you take shelter of his books, Sri Guru and His Grace, I was reading just before coming on this beautiful book, Heart and Halo, and I don't think I'll have time to read from it, but I was becoming a little bit confused what to speak on, because his books, wherever you jump in, it's like an ocean of nectar, and you just want to read and read and read. His style of writing, it attracts your heart and completely captures all your attention. And so, there's not so much time. I don't know, maybe 2-3 more minutes left. Gurudev would always tell some sweet stories in relation to our Param Gurudev and how there was a very sweet relationship between Sridhar Maharaj and Param Gurudev Bhakti Priyan Keshu Goswami Maharaj. They were very dear brothers. They helped each other so much. Our Srila Gurudev every year in Navadvip would go to visit Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj and take his darshan with Param Gurudev. And then when Param Gurudev left this world, went to the Prakrit Dham, Gurudev would every year go there after Gaur Purnim and take shiksha, take guidance and speak with Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. He was a great, philosopher, a great scholar in Sanskrit. Utmost, he was so dedicated to the service of his Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. That's why I said in the beginning, those who are like our angels, those Vaishnavas, we should develop a mood of worship towards them. Without taking shelter of our Guru Vaishnavas, we have no hope in spiritual life. We must meditate on them, pray to them for shelter, pray to them for mercy, pray to them for protection, and they can help us advance. And they have such an intimate relationship. They're always helping us go further and deeper into our spiritual life. We see that in his life, how he taught people and how he spoke and how he engaged them in service. I like to remember this idea that if we want to advance in spiritual life, to go up, we must go deep. We must develop our roots. As high as you want to go in spiritual life, you must go that deep with your spiritual roots. And so therefore, we want to develop this internal mood of bhajan. Ultimately, at some point in our life, we must do bhajan. Otherwise, our life will pass in vain. As we heard this bhajan sung by Mahabodhi Prabhu. Why do we call it bhajans we sing? Because it's telling us, do bhajan. There was one leader of a big society. Gurudev asked him, how are you doing? How is your bhajan? He said, I don't have time for bhajan. I'm too busy managing the affairs of so many hundreds of centers. This was in the 80s or 90s, something like that. And Gurudev said, you should pray. In your next life, you can do bhajan. And so at some point in our life, bhajan must go on and seva must go on. But bhajan is also seva. What does it mean? In a simple way, chant Harinam and pray. Do your kirtan, take sadhu sangha, have the mood. I am a student. Radhika says, Krishna says, I am a student of Radhika's love. Radharani has the mood. Na prema gandosti, I don't even have a drop of love. Even though she is Srimati Radhika, the most exalted, who Krishna describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila chapter 4. Mahaprabhu, it's described by Kaviraj Goswami. Krishna is saying, the love of Srimati Radhika is all pervading and yet it's ever expanding. It's the highest, most glorious thing, and yet she is the most humble. So this is such a high thing that we're seeking. Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our Sampradaya, if we want that highest thing, we have to give the highest thing. Srila Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj would say, we have to surrender ourselves completely, Sharanagati. Surrender ourselves to that highest thing and take shelter and follow the process. And then gradually, through the process of spiritual development, we can achieve that highest fruit. So today I'm remembering Srila Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj, remembering his relationship with our Gurudev, with Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Brighankeshwar Goswami Maharaj, with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada stayed at his house many times. And he was the most, you could say, benevolent, loving. You want me to keep going? I was just about to stop. He was the most benevolent, loving father without any, we hear about unconditional love. You could really say Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj had unconditional love and affection for all, you could say, like new babies on this path. Especially, he was like, like a grand uncle or a godfather or a grandfather to, you could say to this day, to all of us in the West. He is like one of our godfathers, one of our grandfathers. Srila Swami Prabhupada was like our father in the West. Srila Gurudev is like our mother and father to the young generation, but also like a mother, Shiksha Guru, guiding so many followers of our father, Srila Swami Prabhupada, father to the West. But Srila Bhakti-Raksaka Goswami Maharaj, he was so sweet and so compassionate and so loving and so profound. If you read his books, wherever you dive in, it's full of this so much sublime meaning. Ultimately, helping us understand what does it mean to have real relationship to Vaishnavas. And that's now, thank you for telling me I have a couple of minutes, because it reminds me of a very important thing. Right before I came on, I didn't have many ideas what to speak. But one very important thing is before Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left this world, he gave many important instructions, his final instructions. He said, life after life, our mood as Gaudiya Vaishnavas is to aspire with straw between our teeth in a mood of utmost humility. When can I take the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Rupa? Sri Rupa pada padma more samarpide. Henoki hoibe more narva sakigan anugata nartam kuriveshasan. This is our mood. When can I take shelter of Rupa Raghunath? Rupa Raghunatha pare jara as. Chaitanya Charitamrita kahe Krishna Das. Krishna's Kaviraj Swami in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, the most important of all our literature. At the end of every chapter, he said, Rupa Raghunath pare jara as, praying with aspiration for getting the foot dust of Rupa and Raghunath. This Kaviraj Goswami writes Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati established that same thing. And when he left this world, before he left, he requested Bhakti-Raksaka Sridhar Goswami Maharaj to sing the most exalted of our bhajans that we sing, the highest of our bhajans. We don't ever sing this casually. Some bhajans we may sing in a more open setting, public setting, but this bhajan is sung in a very intimate, deep mood. And Bhaktisiddhanta requested his dear follower, disciple, Bhakti-Raksaka Sridhar Goswami Maharaj to sing this. And at first he was shy. Oh, this person can sing. He's a famous kirtaniya. This person can sing. He's a famous kirtaniya. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, no, you will sing. So this is not a light thing. And Bhakti-Raksaka Sridhar Maharaj sang, Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, Se Mora Shampada, Se Mora Bhajana Pujana, Se Mora Bhajana Pujana. This whole bhajan, this is very beautiful. And it shows that ultimately, though we are called to duty in life, to serve our Guru, to serve his mission, to carry out his orders, internally, what is the mood we are aspiring to cultivate? Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the most powerful, stalwart sannyasi, who didn't often speak of these subjects publicly, especially when before he left, he requested this song to be sung, that the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari, they are my life and soul. They are my object of worship, my puja, my vrata, my vows, my tapa, my austerities, my japa, my jivanera jivan, the life of my life, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. And Srila Swami Prabhupada, he requested our Srila Gurudev to sing the same bhajan before he left. So this is the mood. Srila Swami Prabhupada would not request Srila Gurudev to sing this. He did not have that mood. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. Therefore, this is the idea. in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, following our Guru Varga, Srila Gurudev, our Vaishnavas, we should gradually try to develop this deep internal mood in our spiritual life. And Srila Bhakti Raksaka Srila Goswami Maharaj, because he did this for Srila Bhakti Santa Saraswati Thakur, we should understand his position, his prominence, his power to help us develop in this path, this ultimate aspiration. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, all devotees.
Thank you so much, Rasik Mohan Prabhu. If anything, I curse my fingers that they cannot type faster. For everything that you have mentioned, and it is very interesting, and I will segue to this. You mentioned two books, My Beloved Masters and Heart and Halo. I was able to go online and was able to post both online on Zoom and onto Facebook for My Beloved Masters. Thank you, Nitai Das, on our Zoom team. He also ended up finding the PDF with the pictures. And Heart and Halo, however, I was not able to find online. I could not find the PDF if my life depended on it. However,
I'll send you a link, or you can continue. Sorry.
Yes, please. If you could be able to post those two links of the PDFs for our Zoom team,
that would be lovely. Shared the article of Heart and Halo from purebhakti.com. So from there you can read.
Wonderful. Great. I'm resending it right now. And at the same time, if you do not want to play that cat and mouse game trying to find the wonderful nectar, like I was, you also have, if you feel it in your heart, to be able to serve the Vaishnavas and to continue listening to the wonderful Katha of Rasik Mohan Prabhu. He has a YouTube video, channel, Rasik Mohan Das. Also, I will paste right now at the Patreon to be able to help the brand new Bhakta Bandhav Ashram in New York, patreon.com/serve love. They have 6 different levels, wherever you feel comfortable in being able to assist. And the wonderful thing is that depending on the level you choose, you will actually get these published works to you. So I thank you so much for your time, Rasik Mohan Prabhu. I look forward to getting your information. At this point in time, yes, Atul Krishna Das has mentioned scsmat.com also has PDFs and audio recordings of Sridhar Maharaja's books. Feel free to find the nectar wherever you can. And at this point in time, I'm going to unmute Yashoda Nandan Prabhu because he has something to mention at this time.
Prabhu, well, if that's you giving Qatar when you didn't have many ideas, I'm a bit worried about what would happen if you had a few ideas. That's wonderful. I made a mistake though. When I allocated what to speak about in the aggregate subject matter, I had Sri Radha-Syamasundara Temple, but I didn't allocate it either to you or to Srimana Chitananda Prabhu. So I just wanted to mention that, but actually the past time you...
Madhuri wrote me that. It was glorification of Sridhar and Jharu Mandala, but that was Friday, so I'm sorry, but...
No, it's my fault. But actually, the past time you told about the ankle bell Tilak Radha story, that deity is in that temple. So you did cover it anyhow, but you might just want to mention the name of the temple so that the devotees on this slot get the benefit of what we had this morning.
Yes, Shri Radha-Syamasundara.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't clearer.
So nice seeing you all. I'll turn off my video and keep listening. Haribol.